Our first week back from the international break and coaching seats are starting to heat up. What's up, everyone? Dave here with A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. We've got Aaron here with us to talk U.S. national team results last week, the return of European play, and even some Champions League previews. So stick around. All right, Aaron, what's going on?
How's it going today?
So we got a hot one again. Again, something about these Mondays just brings out the hot weather. And that's not a play on words about the hot seats for some of these managers in Europe, but we are starting to see some of that trending a little bit. We had, they get back from the international break, first match back, and we kind of see where things are at. So
a couple of them being tossed into the fire.
Yeah. No, it is getting to be that early silly season. Usually, between now and that October international break is where we'll start to see, a couple managers not named Eric Ten Hag lose their job. So let's jump right into it. We have not a ton of last week's matches to talk about, but we have an absolute boatload coming up, with Champions League. So I want to give them their due time. So let's start with the Premier League. Arsenal 3-0 victory over Forest in Ange Postecoglou's first match, back in the game. Obviously, he won the Europa League with Tottenham and finished, I believe, 16th en route to being fired after the season ended. And Arsenal gets the best of their former North London rival manager.
Yeah, they were actually chanting, "Are you Tottenham in disguise?"
Yes. So again, a pretty comprehensive victory. 2 goals from great new goal scorer for Arsenal, Martin Zubimendi.
Yep. That's another Spaniard doing what it is what it takes to win.
So who would have thought? But yeah, 2 goals from Zubimendi, another from Victor Gyökeres, and he seems to be
with an assist from Ets. A lot of the new guys coming in doing what they do. A lot of people that I've spoke to just feel that Arsenal have what it takes to, unlike last year, replace the players that go down. And when you see Declan Rice coming off the bench, or you see you see all these Martinelli coming off the bench, what do you do as an opposing team? You're like,
let's face it, no matter who you are, the injuries are going to happen. So to compete,
27 injuries.
Yeah, to compete atop the Premier League, not to mention, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, you need a deep squad. And Arsenal, for the first time under Arteta, seems to have that. Again, you can say what you want about some of his individual decisions, this player versus that player, making Marino a number 9 last year, to varying degrees of success as the year went. Again, not replacing Kai Havertz during his injury. Was that on Arteta? Was that on, Kroenke and the board and, all that? But they do seem to have strengthened their squad this offseason.
Listen, I'm one of the most skeptical Arsenal fans when it comes to it. Like, it's 4 games into the season, anything can happen.
Right.
But the direction they're going now feels a lot more comfortable than last year.
It does.
So
and it seems
I'm not on edge as much.
It seems that again, Arsenal people and Arteta's camp have been saying it, essentially since he took the job of trust the process. The process is here. We said it in the offseason. If what defines a success for Arteta this year, and if they don't win a trophy, is he out?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he's out. He's shown that they have grown, and I don't think if they don't win a trophy, he's out. Because again, they're successful. They've been successful. They've shown. I feel like they again need to get to those same results, right? They need to get to quarterfinals and semifinals and stuff like that. There was a little bit of worry, right, when when Edu left in the season, and bringing in Andrea and Berta, I think is his name, right?
I believe so.
But he's shown that he was able to fill the boots and find people that again, people are wondering why did Madueke go to Arsenal from Chelsea. You know,
Yeah.
he's showing in England and in Arsenal that he can play with the best of them. And I don't know, it was that, you know, so again,
Yeah, we saw, and we saw, you know, obviously in limited minutes, but you know, a good showing from Trossard as he came on late. You know, it's funny, we were talking about it.
He was going to leave. He was going to leave in the offseason. They were set, and it came as a surprise to me when they said that they re-signed him.
Yeah,
because he was bent on leaving for full-time play, but this guy has been a wonder sub. So them being able to talk him into staying, and it just goes to show that again he got an assist.
Right. Literally, his first touch settled the ball. His second touch played that ball in to Zubamendi, you know, for the goal. And literally, as just prior we were saying, or I was saying, you know, what happened to Trossard? You know, he seems to have been falling out of favor. And then
Mascara coming in,
yep,
right, you know, to replace Saliba, one of the greatest defensive backs in the game.
Yep.
And he fit right in like there was no change.
Right. That was during the Liverpool match. So, you know, again, good to see. And again, early days, but they're literally a wonder goal from Szoboszlai away from still being undefeated.
Listen, I'm not going to say that they're going to win the league this season because it's a long season. Liverpool still pulling off wins. It just feels a little bit more comfortable than last season. Last season, we were on the edge because we were like, okay, we made it to the quarterfinals. Can we make it to the semifinals? Yeah. Okay, we made it to the semifinals. Can we make it to the finals? Like, as long as we keep this pace, we'll be good to go.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, they actually, it looks like they have the best goal differential in the league.
Yeah, we are playing City next, so it's going to be I think the final test of the 5 days, and then I think we start playing some lower table stuff. But
again, United is down in the bottom half of the table, but in your first 5 matches play Liverpool, City, United, and again, we don't know the result yet of the City match, obviously, but to potentially have up to 12 out of 15 points. Even you take the loss to City, you know, to win 3 matches and lose 2 of them.
Yeah.
When you're up against Liverpool, United, and City in that grouping, you know, I like that.
Yeah,
I think
we take
over the run of a season. You know, I think those are good results. Obviously, if you want to win a title, you have to get 3 points out of all of those. You have to beat those other teams that are sitting around the top, including Tottenham.
Yep. Again, there's still some hard matches to go. We still got to play Tottenham. We still got to play Chelsea. Again, we still got to play Crystal Palace.
The return legs on all these matches as well. But to get off to a good start, you know, both here and with Champions League, you know, it's going to go a long way down the pipeline.
Good.
So. All right. We had also on Saturday morning, we had our Colden Street Derby, as we are starting to call it. Bournemouth hosting Brighton. Brighton won both of those fixtures last season 2-1. So very fitting that Bournemouth returned the favor with a 2-1 victory. A wonder goal from Alex Scott, and Antoine Semenyo converts an Evan Nielsen penalty, sandwiched between a Matoma goal that, again, was a typical Matoma goal.
And Diego missed it, always.
But one of only 2 shots on target for Brighton. Bournemouth had the better hand in possession, in shots. You know, but for the most part, it was a pretty level match. You know, two squads that play a similar style, that run their club in a similar way. But look out now, Bournemouth after match day 4 are currently in the top 4, level on points with your Arsenal and Tottenham. Obviously, they don't have the goal differential of the 2 London squads. Arsenal is +8, Tottenham +7, and Bournemouth, despite having 3 wins, is only +1.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it in their first game. They went, the 4-2 loss to Bournemouth, to Liverpool. Essentially, still they put 2 goals.
Oh yeah, Liverpool. No, I mean, in the 85th minute, they were level with Liverpool at Anfield,
as we're calling them.
Anfield.
Yeah.
And that was, again, the opening match. They had the Diogo Jota, you know, everything to do with that. So
they've beaten Tottenham, who again is on above 3 wins as well, above them.
In fact, that's the only goal that Tottenham has conceded so far.
Yeah.
So, and they, I mean, you saw the game. They made Tottenham look bad.
No, really bad. Yeah. No, they made Tottenham look like they were last year.
Yeah. So I actually was on as a guest for Premier League Fan Zone this morning. That is a show for the UK audience. But we were talking about the chances of Europe here. And I got to be honest. I mean, last year you can never turn down the chance to be in Europe. But last year we were not ready. I don't think Bournemouth had the squad depth like we just talked about with Arsenal, and you're competing on 3 or 4 fronts with the domestic cups as well. But I think Bournemouth are putting the pieces in place. We have probably our deepest squad we've ever had. And maybe most importantly, everyone that we're competing with right now in the Premier League table, in terms of top 5, top 6, are in European competition. So we don't have any of those midweek matches to worry about that Liverpool and Arsenal and Tottenham and Chelsea do and Man City do. Obviously, Everton and Sunderland are surprising into the top 7 right now, both of them. Even Palace in 9th, and Newcastle in 10th are both in Europe. So, it'll be nice to see, do these other clubs make those adjustments, or do they run out of gas as the season goes on?
Yeah.
Where Bournemouth doesn't have that to worry. But obviously, injuries you can never predict. But
like we said with Arsenal, it's going to be a long season. They still have key matches to play, but out of the first 4 matches, to walk away with, like you said, 9 points, facing the top team currently, beating the third team currently, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have, we almost always look through a very rose-colored lens with Bournemouth, mostly because they're in a stratosphere that they've never been at before. So even if they struggle through the season and finish 12th, it's still
well, look, as long as what happened last year doesn't happen, where they have that like mid-season fall down the table.
I mean, they're almost always good for something like that at some point in the year. They've done it the last 2 or 3 years.
I mean, but if they can make it past that, or not have that happen, then that shows they're growing.
And for the record, just about every club does that at some point. I mean, Arsenal had it 2 or 3 matches where
I mean, the season we lost when by Man City for 2 points, we were ahead by 5,
right?
And then we went into, I think it was West Ham away. We were up by 2, they scored 2, we tied. Then we were at Liverpool at home. We were up by 2, they scored 2, we tie. And at that point, Man City, that was the string of the fall that we just had. So you see it every year from every team.
Of course. And really that's usually what makes the difference, whether it's, Man City not dropping, those results and then going on a, 9-match win streak, or Liverpool last year when everyone else was faltering, they kind of just kept coasting. That's what makes a champion is converting those would-be losses to draws, or those would-be draws into victory.
Yeah, all credit to Liverpool. Last season felt strange, right? With Liverpool winning, it felt like a very off season. Again, you had Tottenham and United, who are coming off good seasons, who are at the bottom of the table. City, obviously, I think they've sat in the 4th.
City, that was the first time I think Pep had ever lost 3 in a row. He wound up losing like 5 or 6 in a row, I believe. So you're right.
So they happen,
and you noticed it with that logjam competing for the last couple of European spots. There were I think 7 or 8 teams that could have been in or out of Europe leading up to the last week. So very interesting there. Speaking of interesting results, a match that Diego, we all talked about it Saturday morning. Both teams needed this victory just for mentality. The Manchester Derby at the Etihad, and kind of oddly fittingly, a boxing great and Manchester resident, Ricky Hatton, actually passed away. I believe it was Friday or Saturday. He was found. And he's obviously a golden child in Manchester. He does support City, but most United fans love him as well, just for representing the city as a whole, globally. So a fitting day for a Manchester Derby, and City ran rampant. 3-0 final, a goal from Phil Foden and 2 from Erling Haaland. And honestly, it could have been more. Haaland missed one.
It's strange because like you feel like the game on paper doesn't look bad. You know, United, you know, they had the same amount of shots to City. They just weren't as precise.
And United had more possession.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
you got to wonder what's going on in the mind of them, because again, they thought they have the pieces, they bring in the pieces, and Amarim just can't put it together.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, they've invested so much in what Ruben Amarim is trying to do. You know, anyone else, I would say, you know, if things don't turn around by that October international break, they're out. But again, they. But
then who do they replace? Does Mourinho come back? Like, I read this morning where people were like, "There's worse things than Mourinho coming back." Yeah. Like, I mean, the thing right now is like you last season at the halfway point at the midweek or the mid-season transfer, you brought in a European player extraordinaire who does nothing in Holjun,
Rasmus Højlund,
and then Xerxes, and then this season you bring in Yoro, and then you bring in Sesko, and they're not Mbeumo and Cunha, like but that's the thing. Mbeumo and Cunha have proved themselves in the Premier League, but it's just one of those things that like you put. I don't like you said, they've been spending so much money over the last few seasons, and it hasn't gotten them anywhere. Yeah. When is this going to come completely crashing down?
Right.
Like if it's not already.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at their bench too. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know, some of these names.
I feel like it feels like Chelsea from 2 years ago when they spent $300 million to buy everybody and no one knew how to play together.
And you know, they brought in, they spent good money on a goalkeeper, and Bayindir is still playing.
Oh, speaking of goalkeeper, this was what Donnarumma's first game for City.
Yep, and he made some great saves actually. But yeah, it's just I don't know if they can continue on with Amarim. I mean, this is again, I on paper, Man City's a much better squad. So I don't think this result in and of itself is, you know, the one that gets him fired, but it's a Manchester derby and they lost by 3, and it could have / should have been more. I mean, it really was not a close match despite some of the statistics saying it was. So you know, with that, we've already talked about some of the top 4, but we have Liverpool leading. They are perfect on 12 points after 4 matches.
Again, you know, another Liverpool late goal against Burnley.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, credit to Burnley. They're fighting out of the relegation zone.
94th minute penalty.
94th, the 97th against Newcastle. I mean, as a joke, we've been joking that they've earned the name Laterpool because they like to score later than everybody else. Some people are like, it's a conspiracy considering they're getting like plus 7 minutes, but I mean, they're fighting when it has to happen and they're getting the goals. The question is, can it sustain?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's a fine line between having this like aura, you know, of we're never out until until the final whistle is blown, versus like, guys, we're just leaving this too late. Like, you know, we got to get our act together.
Yeah.
But you look at like Man City, you know, in the years that they were very successful, and they always had it. I mean, you know, famously across the globe, Fergie time. You know, when United,
VAR United. You know, when VAR first came out, like they've earned that. I mean, you tend to see it sometimes where
the penalty call against Burnley was clear as day. It was
I mean,
we're not implying that
guy pulls his arm, elbow goes out. Like you can see it. I mean,
and even he knew it too.
He put his hand, his face in his hands. Like he's done. But
and it is a shame for Burnley to have put in all that tough work in, including for some of it playing a man down after 2 yellow cards.
So I saw some people arguing that like the penalty should have been retaken, some stuff with it.
Yeah,
but I mean, at that point, you got yourself in that position. You shouldn't have to block a penalty.
Yeah, I don't like that they pretty much let everyone do what they want, you know, coming into the box. But you know, tough sledding to make that the call that when you're finally gonna do it. So behind Liverpool, we have Arsenal, Tottenham, and Bournemouth in that order, all on 9. Chelsea on 8. Everton and Sunderland, both surprising, 6th and 7th place, both on 7 points.
I think Everton has not allowed a goal at home.
That makes sense.
I think that I remember reading somewhere about they're not allowing a goal at home.
Moyes really has them playing well, and in their new stadium. Man City in 8th, Palace and Newcastle rounding up the top half, and then 11th through 20th we have Fulham, Brentford, Brighton in 13th, United in 14th, Forest really falling off their pace from last year in 15th place. Newly promoted Leeds and Burnley out of the relegation zone so far, 16th and 17th place. And then in the drop, West Ham on 3 and still without a win. You have Aston Villa on 2 points, and Wolves have yet to get a single point. They are 0-4 with a -7 goal differential, and it looks like Wolves are at this point in time going to be done and dusted. I mean, they're showing very little sign of life. Obviously, when you lose, some of your top players to the bigger clubs, it makes it that much more difficult.
Yeah, it is a long season. Again, we are starting to see the cracks come and form in the teams that come up, like you said, Burnley and Leeds. Again, Aston Villa's is rough. So we'll see it when these teams play each other if Wolves can dig out, because I don't think they've played anybody in the lower table.
No, but here the thing for me, like with Burnley, we'll go from 15th down. Nottingham Forest,
look where they were last season.
They're Europe. They're in Europe. Yeah. They have the talent there. They have the ability. Obviously now they have Ange, and we'll see how that all shakes out. But they have points in them.
Do you think the owner gets hated on if they essentially stutter out and end up in the bottom?
I don't. I mean, do I think he will? Yes. Do I think he deserves to? No. Okay. I think to take a football term, they outkicked their coverage so much last year that they're a mid-table team at best. And I don't mean that to be.
But you got rid of the coach that got you there 3 games into the season.
Yeah.
That coach proved he can get you to the top of the table.
I think someday we will hear the truth about all that. I mean, you go back to that match, late in the season last year with the injury and the miscommunication, and Marinakis coming onto the field and that whole kerfuffle.
Of course, you don't want to see the coach and the top board going at it in any sport, but it's just I don't know. It just makes you think, like, what happened if he didn't? Would Forest be right now where they are if he wasn't gone? I mean, would they have played better against Arsenal? Who knows?
Yeah. So anyway, with Forest, again, there's points in there. Leeds United has been playing some exciting football.
Yeah.
Burnley, again, we just saw it. They're not going to blow you away with brilliant attacks. But
they've said that, like, a lot of people, like the pundits, are saying that Burnley is going to be extremely defensive.
Yeah.
They are parking the bus.
That's what most newly promoted sides do, and again, they almost nicked a point off of Liverpool by doing it. So I think they will keep trending upward or similar to where they're at. West Ham, who knows?
That's a surprise.
Graham Potter. I mean, that their only win was that 3-0 surprising win over Forest.
2 years ago, they were one of the kings of Europe.
Yep.
And now look at where they're.
And then and Aston Villa.
Again, another Emery question mark.
I don't know. I mean.
I don't know. I want to support him because of what he did at Arsenal.
Yeah,
but if he maybe he was really good in La Liga, he might not be a fit for the Premier League.
But I mean, he took Villa with to
last season it was good. Yeah. But again, all the teams that you saw last season at the top have now switched. Brighton, Forest.
My point being is the 5 teams we just mentioned: Forest, Leeds, Burnley, West Ham, and Villa. You have to think that they have something in them. Again, they might still finish in the relegation zone, but they will have more points in them. Wolves, I'm not seeing any glimmer of hope. I mean, yes, here's the results. Let's go back to the beginning of the season here. I mean, they got absolutely stomped by City in the opener.
A red card for Bournemouth, 1-0.
But they didn't look great in that match.
No.
A few chances. I mean, they beat West Ham in the Carabao Cup.
Yep.
They conceded 3 at home to Everton.
Mm-hmm.
They lost, to Newcastle,
but only 1-0. Again, that was the new wonder guy that they got. Newcastle scoring. So I don't know. I think it's early. I think if you ask me in about 6 more games, we'll have a clearer picture.
No,
but
I mean that's fair.
They could turn it around. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. It'll be weird if they get relegated, because it'll be, again, how long has it been since Wolves has been out of the?
Yeah, they've been pretty.
They've been there for a while. I mean, I watched them come in, and they were one of my FIFA take over a lower club and make it into the Premier League clubs.
Let me see if I can find that real quick. How long they've been back up? 2018.
Okay, yeah, 2018.
So this is that's 18, 19, and we're in 25. So this will be their seventh year.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I am pretty pessimistic on that, in terms of them all of a sudden showing up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's take a couple quick moments to look across Europe. We had an absolute, a lot of times these games don't live up to it. Case in point, Manchester Derby.
Yeah.
But we have the Derby d'Italia, Juventus hosting Inter Milan, and a 4-3 final, including a 91st minute winner for Juve. And this game had a little bit of everything.
I don't think any of us had Juve winning in our predictions at this point. I think we all
no, I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that Saturday morning. The interesting, we kind of parsed through the stats here a little bit. 7 goals from 8 total shots on target.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 save between both goalkeepers.
Yeah.
The scoring was opened by Bournemouth alum Lloyd Kelly, who seems to be fitting in quite well here in Turin. A pair of goals from Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who is a former AC Milan player as well. Both Thuram brothers scored. For those of you that don't know, Kefren and Marcus Thuram are both the sons of Lilian Thuram, former Parma player and Juve player.
I mean, that was the joke we had before. The thing was, when somebody said Thuram, we were like, which one?
Yeah, and World Cup winner with the French national team. And then and by the way, all these goals were incredible to watch. Great
definitely
finishes.
Not something you typically see from Italian football.
So and then a Nadzic goal in the 91st minute to close the door, and that puts Juve. Where am I now?
I mean, Inter with most of the stats on paper again,
right?
Crazy, but I mean, for Juve to pull it out in that last minute.
Yeah, and again, don't look now, but Inter in the bottom half of the table, 3 points from 3 matches. Napoli behind Scott McTominay and Kevin De Bruyne, leading the league right now on perfect 9 points. Then Juve, Cremonese, surprisingly in 3rd, Udinese in 4th, and then Milan, Roma, and Atalanta behind them 5th, 6th, and 7th. So you see some of the old traditional powers, where they should be, in the top 3rd of the table.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, again, it was a very good match to see. Marcus Thuram currently leading the league in scoring. That was his 3rd goal of the early season. And I grew up watching Serie A, so I have a little bit of a soft spot in my heart. Basically for everyone not named Inter Milan, but it's good to see these big Italian rivalry matches living up to it. And the big knock on in the Italian game was always, they just play so negatively. It's so slow, very defensive.
That's what I had growing up. Like, whenever I heard Serie A, my father was always like, 1-0 victories were the thing. You know, they always played the 1-0. They always played the 1-1. They always played the 2-1.
This is not your father's Serie A anymore.
No, not at all.
And honestly, one of the guys that started that was Gianpiero Gasparini, who was at Atalanta. He's now at Roma, and just open, free flowing attacking football. And it's good to see that back, regardless of whether it's Italy or not. It's just good to see positive scoring football back in Europe.
I'll be aging myself, but the last time I really watched Serie A, I think there was a guy by the name of Totti. Was he playing? Is he still playing?
Francesco Totti, yeah.
Yeah, for Roma. That's been a while. It's been a while.
All right, so that is going to do it for our look at Europe. We'll be right back. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll get back home here. International friendlies still, I can't believe we're still, it was only a week ago.
That feels like it's been a month.
It feels like forever ago. So we'll get back to that, some MLS action, and then a huge, huge, huge slate of matches coming up, both domestic leagues and Champions League. So stick around. All right, welcome back to A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. Here we are. Aaron next to me. Diego, by the way, is out with a bit of a back injury. So
yes, he's in the injured reserves list.
We joked with him that we could get him a stretcher and bring him into the studio today to get him in on the show.
Yeah, the guy sits on a couch.
I know.
Come on, it's the most comfortable spot, as he says.
And so here we are. We will resume our domestic coverage with the this was last Tuesday, the U.S. Japan result. We did live stream it on Twitch. So if and when you are looking for some games to watch, we will begin posting, if and when we'll have those matches. So stick around, stay tuned for all that, whether it's Instagram, whether it's, our mailing list, whether it's our website. Where else do we put it? And on Twitch itself, we'll have the schedule up there. So a 2-0 victory for the U.S. over Japan. Now, let me first say that this was definitely not Japan's strongest lineup.
No, it was not.
But that being said,
it was an enjoyable match.
It looked good. Yeah. For the first time in a long, long time, I actually enjoyed watching the U.S. play. It was open. It was fairly free flowing.
Multiple shots on target.
Yeah.
Off target.
So the first goal was a great goal. Ball served in by Max Arfston to Zendejas in the 30th minute. A left-footed volley, and then Flo Balogun finished it off in the second half, 64th minute. So for the U.S., 56% possession and 11 shots on target from 19 total. And again, could they have done better with all those shots on targets? Probably, but
I mean, listen, 11 shots on target is still a lot better than what was it?
No, absolutely.
2 against the other.
And then you have to take those positives as they come. Surprisingly, this was a 3-back system also for the U.S. national team.
Yep.
Excuse me, with Tristan.
You were surprised to see Ream out there.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, Ream played all 90. He got into the attack a lot more than I would have guessed. Again, he's very good with the ball at his feet. I just, from a fitness standpoint, did not think he'd have 90 minutes of back and forth in him. But to his credit, he did well. So that back three was Tristan Blackman to start, Chris Richards and Tim Ream out on the left side, and then I believe was it Dest that came on for Blackman. I think. So again, you get some different looks at things, and Pochettino's got some decisions to make.
He's piecing it all together. Still,
is this the system that we have going forward?
Maybe. There's also word that they're talking about bringing in, Portugal and Czech Republic to play games again to get them ready for the World Cup.
Yep. And then
a good step in the right direction.
And we have, you have the October friendlies.
Correct.
We have who's coming up, Paraguay and Uruguay, both World Cup teams for 2026. So it will be a good opportunity to see the U.S. again under high pressure by quality opponents, which has been a knock of not that they had anything to do with it, but by virtue of hosting the World Cup, you're not playing qualifying matches, so it's tough to find good matches to gauge your squad.
Correct. Yeah.
So that being said, I'm optimistic that we'll continue trending upward as the next international break comes in. You hear that bird, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's probably because we have the window.
Yeah.
Open.
Sorry.
No.
I heard it and I was trying to ignore it, and then I see Aaron like.
I wanted to make sure it wasn't somebody's phone like playing a video. I was like, what? I was like, oh,
We get
not mine.
DMCA'd by a bird.
Yeah.
So that being said, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more out of the U.S. with the future friendlies. And it's funny, I had to remind myself that prior to the Qatar World Cup, I think it was like a month or two before the World Cup, we were still experimenting under Berhalter.
Mm.
So, I would love to be a known commodity with what we've got and where we're going with things, but realistically, that will continue to develop as the winter goes and into the spring. Honestly, you never know, who you might see in terms of, what do we have for clarity. So, we'll keep you posted, obviously, with that, and continue doing the watch parties for the US, and we'll keep up our coverage of them.
Yeah.
So now over to MLS. Both teams locally were in action. NYCFC went to Chicago, and they came back with a 3-1 victory despite going down early, 1-0 on a Zinkernagel goal in the 13th minute. 40th minute, Nicolas Fernandez leveled things, and then Alonso Martinez and Seymour Garfield-Reed got some what we'll call some garbage time goal there in the 93rd minute. Possession was even, and again they got back to their trend of taking points. They had a great streak, I think, of 5 or 6 matches unbeaten, and then they surprisingly lost a home match to DC United.
Yep.
But
this was one of those games that like City had to win too.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're fighting for that.
Yeah,
for that spot.
And so they currently sit, I believe, now in 7th place. But we'll take a look. And Red Bulls had the late game. They traveled to Portland, I believe. Let's see. Portland Timbers, Red Bulls, and there we are. Yeah, so a 2-1 victory for Portland. Not surprising, an Emil Forsberg goal, and it seems that they will go as far as Forsberg and Choupo-Moting can take them,
which is kind of rough when you think about, are they going to be here next season?
Yeah,
like, if they're playing this well, then something's going to come out. And pick them up.
Yeah, that is a good point. And again, it's such a weird thing where it seems the more possession New York Red Bulls have, the less likely they are to win.
Yep.
So they had 58% possession, and maybe this is just other clubs starting to figure out how to beat the Red Bulls, what kind of system they play. So let's bring up the Eastern Conference standings here.
Yep.
So Red Bulls, with that loss, honestly, that may have been the dagger for them. They currently sit in 10th, so they're on the outside looking in. They have 40 points on 30 matches played. Now you see Chicago just above them on 42 points.
Correct.
But they still have the game in hand. You have Miami on 46 points. They have 4 games in hand over the Red Bulls. You have NYCFC, who just pipped Inter Miami to 47 points. They're in 7th with 2 matches in hand over the Red Bulls. So the Red Bulls really, 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 they need a lot of help from other clubs
to beat Chicago.
And obviously NYCFC did them a bit of a favor with that victory in Chicago on the weekend. But things we're in panic mode, for those Red Bulls. So we'll see how things shake out. This would break, I believe they have like a 20-year streak.
It's tough to see as a New York fan. I mean, in most sports, the funniest thing is that, as it might be pompous of me as a New Yorker, but there's always been a saying that sports feels more rough without a New York team in the playoffs.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's because like sometimes people think of like New York as the Mecca, the large city. So again, like you said, they were on a 20-year streak of making it, and then for them to play this roughly this year, I mean, yeah, City will be in, but without a Red Bulls, it just feels off.
For sure,
Something feels off.
I mean, it's the same. You go out west and you see, the struggles of
LA Galaxy.
LA Galaxy.
Like,
and and even I mean, honestly, LAFC is not lighting the world on fire either. They'll make the playoffs, but it's similar. We talked about it, in year, last season, I believe it was, with, in England, you have, obviously you have that big rivalry of Liverpool and Everton.
Mm-hmm.
But Liverpool doesn't want to see Everton relegated. As much as they may dislike Everton, the league is in a better place when
with
both
that
teams
rivalry
are there.
When they're able to play each other. It makes for better. I mean, that's the one thing that the MLS doesn't have, though. Like, okay, cool, the Red Bull didn't make it. They're not relegated.
Right.
They're not relegated. They're still sitting here. We'll see them next year. They're playing the same teams next year.
Yep.
We'll still have the NYCFC Red Bull games. We'll still have the Red Bull New England Revolution games. Yep. All the ones of old. So least for that.
Speaking of New England Revolution, we could have just mentioned it at the one for the road, but it just broke today that the New England Revolution have fired former Portland Timbers and Columbus Crew manager Caleb Porter. He is a serial winner. New England was I believe officially knocked out of the playoff hunt, but he won titles with Portland. He won a title in Columbus. He won a title at University of Akron, which was kind of the start of these kind of mid majors at the college game. Being able to recruit all over the country and bringing in quality players. He is not, from accounts that I've heard, both players, executives, backroom staffs. He's not an easy guy to work with.
Yeah.
Whether it's just.
I mean, sometimes to be at the top, you got to be that type of player.
Yeah. All these guys.
I mean, you see it in the Premier League all the time. A lot of the managers are
egos are enormous.
Correct.
But it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing. You don't get to that level without having the self-confidence of and that ego of
here's my track record.
Exactly.
Look at what I've done.
And honestly, with another MLS club, in a good fit, look out, because he does
let him take a one at the very low. I mean, look at LA Galaxy,
right?
Maybe a team with a storied past.
Yeah, I mean,
a coach with a storied past coming together.
I think Greg Vanny is probably pretty safe over there with the Galaxy. They won the league. Was that 2 years ago? I think he's an LA guy. He played for the Galaxy. So I mean, again, I do think there will be plenty of opportunities.
Just an off year. I don't know.
There will be plenty of opportunities in the MLS for Caleb Porter to manage if he wants to take a longer break, if he wants to get into, general manager type stuff, who knows? But that would be obviously up to him. All right. Probably the biggest chunk of our show right now might be what's on tap, because we have Champions League starting up, obviously with that Europa and Conference League as well. We have a weekend of domestic play as well. So we will try to cover as much of this as possible.
Yep.
We have tomorrow, Tuesday, your Arsenal will travel to Spain, 12:45 p.m. to play Athletic Bilbao.
Yep. We'll be paying attention from work.
Yes, you'll be tuning into the live stream. We will be live streaming these Tuesday matches. Cool. And then right after that, the 3 p.m. Well, there are several games, but the 3 p.m. match that we will be covering is a banger. Two traditional powers, Juventus hosting Borussia Dortmund. So get the fireworks ready. I think that'll be, again, a lot of these clubs are going to be looking to get on the right foot from the start. With this newer league phase, now that clubs are kind of seeing how it shakes out. Obviously, last year was the first year of this format. So I'm looking for, these clubs to be a little bit more open in attack. Wednesday, we will have 2 games, both at 3:00. Bayern Munich, Chelsea, as well as Liverpool, Atletico Madrid. Atleti has been struggling a little bit in the league. They did just win on the weekend, but hasn't been great for them so far this season. Thursday, another 2 matches at 3:00. We have Man City, Napoli, and Newcastle, Barcelona. Again, this is
European soccer.
This is why I, used to, leave class early or not even take afternoon classes when I was in my college days, because you get these midweek matches in the afternoon, and there is nothing better than these Champions League matchups. And you see some of the stars from across Europe facing one another, not in their domestic leagues. It's a totally different competition, and I'm here for all of it. Then Friday we'll take a bit of a break. And then Saturday morning, bright and early, we will not be covering this match, but we will probably have it on while we do our morning show.
Yeah.
7:30 a.m., a Liverpool derby. This one will be at Anfield.
We should have a bet on how many extra minutes they're going to get.
So, and what we will almost definitely have to do is you, myself, and Diego is submit our predictions prior to the match. Maybe we'll do that on Friday. And then right after that, Brighton hosting third place Tottenham.
Oh, please, Brighton, pull out another thing like
another, again, regardless of where they are on the table.
For our Brighton supporters, I will be a Brighton fan.
Yes,
on Saturday.
A classic match after that, Man United, Chelsea. And then rolling into Sunday, we will have AFC Bournemouth hosting bottom of the table Newcastle. And then the marquee game, 11:30, Arsenal hosting Man City.
Always been a rough one.
It has, and it will continue to be. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, Mikel Arteta, before he came to Arsenal, was Pep's number 2 at Man City.
Last season, you had Haaland asking Miles Lewis Skelly, who is he, in the first match, and then Lewis Skelly responding with a goal and a blossom celebration in the second game. And there's going to be even though City's been playing a little rough, it's going to be one of those games where who knows how it's going to end.
Oh yeah, and I mean, as poorly as Man City can play at times, they still have quality, and they're still a tough team to beat. So I'm looking forward to just the glut of soccer that we have back to back.
It's a good week to be a soccer fan.
And that being said, please check out, the rest of the schedules, because Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will all have 12:45 and 3 p.m. kickoffs across. And this, we're only mentioning Champions League. Obviously, if you're a fan of teams that are in the second and third tier competitions, AEK Athens, clubs like that. Check out
AEK won 1-0.
There you go. So check out Europa League, check out Conference League as well. But yeah, what a week it is to be a soccer fan at the club level. I mean, it's incredible.
In Greek soccer news, Panathinaikos loses to newly promoted side.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. My father invited us over for dinner yesterday. Obviously, we have to talk about Greek soccer.
Of course.
AEK winning 1-0 late. I think it was the 69th minute. And then obviously Panathinaikos off to one of their roughest starts. I don't know.
Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, I think AEK is currently in second behind Olympiacos, which of course, obviously, Olympiacos 30-something time winner,
But who's counting?
Yeah, of course.
So you got Olympiacos, AEK Athens, and PAOK.
Yeah, and then if you go all the way down, you got Panathinaikos currently sitting in 12th.
Yeah,
off to one of their roughest starts.
Yes. I didn't realize it was only a 14-team league.
Yeah, so as you can see, there's only 4 or 5 teams with symbols. Those are pretty much the top 5 in Greece. Yes. As we normally say, you have the top 3, which are red, white, green, white, yellow, and black.
Yes.
And then PAOK, who comes up from behind. I think they won their 4th championship either last year or the year before. Yeah, they're the black and white team.
Is this Aris Thessaloniki? I know them because I believe Freddie Adu played for them at one point.
I think Balogun actually played for Olympiacos on a little one season.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody from Arsenal played on.
Yeah, Freddie Adu was loaned out from Benfica to Aris, played 9 matches, did score a goal.
Yep. Martial just left AEK.
Yeah, Martial. Yeah.
He scored 9 goals in 27 matches, but
then he went to Monterrey.
Yeah, he was looking for to get out. So I guess I don't know.
All right, so
interesting.
Good coverage there. Let's go one for the road. again, for those of you that don't consistently watch or haven't seen the show before, our One for the Road, we kind of just take some random soccer adjacent stories at times. So for the collectibles people in the crowd and card collectors, a Lionel Messi rookie card graded Gem Mint 10.
Yep.
Sold for a record $1.5 million over the I believe it was over the weekend or last week. So
we're in the years of the collectors. Like they're collecting is king.
I do I'll do the Panini stickers for the World Cups, stuff like that. On occasion I'll grab a box or two to open with my kids.
Yeah, if any card store is listening in, by all means, we'd be glad to open some packs on stream.
And if any of you want from our audience, if you want specific leagues or card companies or sets that you'd like to see open, we are talking about maybe doing some of that. Especially, we definitely want to do some Panini World Cup
any
stuff.
type of idea at this point in time, just to try and grow the content a little bit. It gives us something next.
But yeah, I'm excited for the new Panini sticker set to come out for the World Cup. It's always a kind of a fun collector's thing to get everyone together and trade your doubles,
like the quarters of old.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there's on some of the subreddits, I've seen a ton of complaints because now that the World Cup is a 48 team World Cup, the sets in the past that are 500-600 stickers are it's going to be probably close to 1,000 stickers, or unless they do the
diehard fans got to buy more.
Yeah.
Listen, not only did they help the World Cup, they also helped the Panini sticker set. Like, listen, any way to make a buck.
All right, well, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. We hope Diego is back and
got to get him a walker.
and here I'm the one that just turned 40, and here we can't even get him. So if you see on the bottom of the screen there, follow, subscribe on all of our media. Obviously our YouTube there, Twitch, we are fleshing out quite well. Our new website, www.cdunewburgh.com. We're on Instagram. Join us in the Discord. Basically, any social media site that you think of.
In the word of soccer, help us kick it off. Essentially,
So just search for CDU Newburgh on any and all of those, and that's where you'll find us. So thanks again, and we will see you either on the Twitch live streams for Champions League, or back on our pour over show Saturday morning, or here in the tap room for one of our live parties. All right, guys, cheers and thanks.